Yes, your brain does not want you to get a mortgage. Well, that seems counterintuitive because a lot of us spend our lives striving to improve our station in life, to improve the opportunities for our family, and we keep being told over and over again, especially by real estate agents and mortgage lenders, that buying a home is going to help you fulfill some of those financial dreams. Establish your own home, help you start building a family, or at least give you an investment for the future. Easy way to invest with not a guaranteed return, but real estate seems to be a fairly safe investment. So how does your brain not want that for you? Well, your brain, believe it or not, isn't designed to make you happy. Your brain is designed to protect you. And your brain is going to look out for warning signs. Now, if you hear a knock on the door at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you may think, uh-oh, I wonder who's here. Maybe it's a salesman. Maybe it's a neighbor who's having an emergency. Let's go find out. But if that same knock on the door comes at 2 o'clock in the morning, well, we might be more worried that we shouldn't answer the door and maybe we should call the police. So, when it comes to things we're familiar with, our brain's going to protect us. Now, how many times does the average person buy a home? Well, on average, most people, once they're homeowners, refinance or sell every 5 to 7 years. So it's something we do, but not that often. And most first-time home buyers or new home buyers are people that are in their late 20s and early 30s. In fact, the largest demographic of increasing first-time home buyers is single women. So how do we make sure our brain is working for us? Well, it always is. And that's the point to be made, is when we're walking into unfamiliar territory, like who's knocking at my door at 2 o'clock in the morning, or how does a mortgage or buying a house even work, we're putting ourselves in a very vulnerable position. So we have to rely on other people that do this work to help us out and not take advantage of us. And that's the other part of this. Think of how many times you've done something like bought a car. Most of us have bought a car, or gone out on a date. Most of us have done that. Now, we don't know what we're dealing with, so what do you ask the car dealer as to the type of car you're going to buy? How do you know the car you're looking at is a good deal? Well, we really might not know what to ask. Do we need to ask about the headroom or the leg room? Or does it have a lot of accidents? Do we have a good maintenance record? We don't know what to ask, so we'll ask something like that. Well, what was the other owner like, we may say, if we're buying a used car. Or say we're buying a home. We need to get a mortgage. Well, how do I know I'm not being taken advantage of? What questions do I even ask to find out? Well, that's a major step, is to go to somebody and say, look, I need your expert advice because I don't do this often, and I need someone I can trust because I don't even know what to ask. Remember as well that when it comes to major decisions in life, buying a car, where we invest our money, who we marry, where we live, most of those decisions are not based on statistics as much as we'd like to think. Most of them are based on emotion, how we feel. Even think about a vehicle. If you're buying a car, a lot of us might know what our price range is for a vehicle and say, okay, within this price range, I like this specific type of car or truck. We're getting what we like from here. We're marrying who we love from here. So how do we make sure we're doing that with our home? Again, our brain is saying, wait a minute, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to ask. I don't know what to say. So when you call your mortgage lender Or even let's say you call your real estate agent and say, hey, we've been thinking about buying our first home. And they say, congratulations, I can't wait to help you find your first home. This is a big step into the adult world, and it's a big step into your investment for the future. One thing a realtor will probably say first and foremost is, can't wait to go out and show you houses. Do you have your pre-qualification letter from your lender? Wait a minute, my what? Oh, well, let me get that. So then you call your lender and you say, hey, I just talked to my realtor and they're telling me I need to have a pre-qualification letter. So how do I know what to do with that? What do I do? Well, you're trusting the lender to instruct you on what to do for a pre-qualification letter, right? Haven't done one of those before, but the name kind of defines itself. But your brain tells you, wait a minute, can we trust that realtor? Can I trust that lender? Well, how do I even know how to vet my realtor or my mortgage lender? Well, you may ask a question that you know to ask from your mortgage lender, like, what are your rates? What are your fees? And you may get multiple different types of answers from your mortgage lender on this, like, it depends on your credit rating, depends on your income, depends on how much you're putting down. And now it seems to be a very simple answer has turned into a very complicated scenario, which again causes your brain to say, wait a minute, what's going on here? So even though we may look at the advantages of moving into our first home, the advantages of making that large investment for ourselves, our families, and our futures, this is a task our brain is saying, I'm not sure if we want to go through this. So how do we get our brains to realize that mortgages is what we call a good debt, as we've discussed? How do we get our brains to realize that, look, we're paying rent now and we're used to that, but we're going to pay a mortgage now, which is instead of us giving our money away every month and getting nothing back, we're going to look at putting our money into something that's going to build equity over time and benefit our family. Well, there's families that have done a few things to move that along. What you may find when you're shopping for houses, so let's just take this scenario, actually it's a true scenario, by the way. The couple comes, asks for a pre-qualification letter. We input their loan application, we get their credit pulled, we check their income, we check the amount of money that they have to put down, we get the pre-qualification letter done, hand that to the realtor, and then send them on their way to find a home. Now, as they're out looking at homes, the couple may have various concerns about every home that they're looking at. One home, maybe it doesn't have enough closet space in the bathroom. Another home, maybe too close to a busy street. Another home, maybe too close to train tracks for one of the couple. So how do we look at all these homes that every single one of them is not absolutely perfect, but could possibly work in the right scenario so that we can come together as a family and decide on the right home for us? Well, there's a couple of tricks your brain wants. Your brain's going to automatically make sure you're protected. But what your brain's also going to do is look for the things that you're looking for. So, one of the steps is to make sure you're telling your brain, and you're telling those that are shopping with you, what you like in homes. So, if you're going through a list and seeing a home that doesn't have enough closet space, too close to train tracks, too close to power lines, whatever the case may be for you, don't like the size of the backyard, make notes of those. Write those things down. But make sure you also write down the things you liked about the home. So then as you look at all of the homes, there's going to be pluses and minuses. So we have to make sure, as our brain is going to protect us, we're making sure our brain is being balanced, because this is a very stressful situation. So what can also happen is we just get overloaded with information, because our brain's going to say, wait a minute, I've got a lot to do. I have to work, I have to take care of my family, I have to pay my bills, I have to get gas, I have to get to work. Now, after I do all of these things, get my kids to soccer practice, get myself to work, spend some time with the family. Now I've got to go spend time getting all the documentation for a mortgage. I have to spend time going and looking at houses. Now my whole week is so filled, I can't think straight. So that leads to another aspect of how we can make sure our brain is wired correctly to make sure our mortgage is accurate and the home that we want is actually the home we want, and not just us going, wait a minute, I'm tired of doing this. Let's just buy a house so we can be done with it. We have to make sure we list what we like. We also have to make sure that we maintain a routine. So that has its pros and cons as well, because as we get overwhelmed and we feel that things are out of control, we may stick to a specific routine and avoid some of the stresses that our mind is putting us through. Because as we're working, we're thinking about the house, we're thinking about the mortgage, we're remembering, oh, I forgot I got to get this document from my mortgage lender. Oh, I forgot, I've got to make sure I call the realtor back about what we liked about those houses that we saw. So as your brain is going everywhere, having a consistent routine does help calm that down, calm your mind down from being everywhere. Focus on your work while you're at work. Write those things down about your home, about your mortgage, what you need to do. Look at what you're happy about with these homes. Look at what maybe needs to be adjusted so that you and your family can make the right decision in the long run. Another thing we can do along the lines of the routine is not just spend time making sure we're working. It can be something as simple and routine as we get up every morning, brush our teeth, make our bed, work out, take a shower, maintain that routine, and making sure we spend time with people we appreciate and spend time with people that appreciate us. Very important, as everything seems to be crowding in around us. This can help our brains make sure that we're happy. This can make sure that we're focused on the task at hand, and it can make sure that our mind is not stewing over the stresses which can cause actual physical damage. So be aware of that, is that those of us that have been through the home buying process with dozens of people see that type of stress affect people. Also keep in mind, a positive event and a negative event can both be stressful events and have the same type of effect on you physically. So you might be very excited to shop for a home. You might be very excited that you have this great job which is causing you to move, but the burden of having to pack, having to move, having to look for a house, having to maintain your job, having to go through your regular routine can at sometimes be daunting. So hopefully we, as realtors and mortgage lenders, can make it undaunting. So let's sit down, look at the mortgage process for you, which loan is going to work best for you. Give me a call. Let me know what you think about all the stresses and trials that we have to go through on a daily basis, even if it does come to buying a house, in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I'd really appreciate your feedback, because I know as mortgages are my livelihood, I get to see the value in people building their equity over time, and that makes me very happy. So hopefully you can see the benefit of working through what your brain's telling you, wait a minute, don't do this. Sit down and see the benefits of getting the mortgage, sit down and see the benefits of buying a home, and then your brain can go, you know what? This makes me happy. That being said, become a homeowner. It's good for you.